Welcome to episode 88 of the Drag Drive Repeat show presented by Summit Racing. Episode 88 is going to be a big one. Big one. We got four guests on here. We have Jay Blanchard and John sitting live in the JayWire Solutions facility. They're going to be talking about a twin Torque Storm supercharged car with twin blow-off valves and a wastegate on the cold side. It blows my mind. We talked about it a little bit in episode 87. He's on here to explain kind of how that works and all that. Mr. Eric White, will you hit that intro video? Let's do this thing, man.
All right, let's do it.
We're gonna pack things up and hit the road and try to make it the next day.
All right, guys. Again, welcome to episode 88 of the Drag Drive Repeat show presented by Summit Racing. My name is Mike Narks. I am the host of the Drag Drive Repeat show and news. Your 3 hours of news and entertainment from the Drag and Drive community every week, right here, wherever you're watching this. And my right-hand man, my co-host, Mr. Eric White, introduce yourself and tell them what you got going on, dude.
Yeah, I am Eric White, the co-host of both the show and the news. And like you mentioned, right-hand man, which means I do a little bit of everything around Drag Drive Repeat, help out with the circuit, help out with those that are watching with events that you guys put on, do artwork, video editing, photo editing, taking photos, literally. RHM means whatever needs to be done is kind of what I'm doing. So before we kick off completely, I need to give a shout out to my wife for putting up with me for 19 years as of today. So
Man,
I know she's going back to work for a little bit tonight to take care of some things. So if you're listening, thank you for putting up with me. I haven't had a car for 19 years. I think she's the only thing I've kept that long.
well, hey, listen, when you find something good, you got to hold on to that thing, right?
Yep, that's right.
Well, that's pretty awesome. Well, 19 years, man. That's cool. And that's how long you been married? How long y'all been dating? What's the 19 years there?
Yep, 19 years is how long we've been dating. We've been married for
Golly,
11, so it was
man,
it took a little bit to get to
that's all
that
right.
point, but
She wasn't going anywhere.
that's right.
She knew what she had. That's awesome. Well, guys, you know how this works, man. We need loving, supporting wives like Eric's. We appreciate you, Rachel. You're awesome. And then we need race car friends, man. They make this whole world go round. The shares, the likes, the comments, all that kind of stuff. You guys really drive a lot of interaction for us, and we appreciate that from you guys out there in the world of the Drag and Drive community. And then we also appreciate our sponsors, man. The PRI Awards show wouldn't be possible without these sponsors that are all listed right here. You know, the travels we do, the 14 events we go to a year, all that kind of stuff wouldn't be available without them. So thank you to Summit Racing. Thank you to Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Car Chains 3D, WAF Racing, Performer Built Transmissions, Howard's Cams, JayWire Solutions, who's going to be on here in just a little bit, Sweet Patina, Power Tube TV, and Racing Junk Classifieds. Y'all listen, can't do without all of those. And Summit Racing Speed Legacy began in 1968. I don't know if you knew that, almost 60 years ago, as a one-man startup, and is now the world speed shop with 4 facilities, huge facilities, and 200 plus catalog editions. Great catalog editions. I feel like Trump when I just keep repeating that stuff. They feel your passion. They save you money. They deliver fast and offer top-notch customer service for more than 1,500 brands. Make sure to download the Summit Racing mobile app for easy access to speed parts. The fan right in my mouth here. And then you can find them on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. They do a great job on social media, but you can also find them on the On All Cylinders podcast and website for more automotive discussions, kind of like what we got here. From humble origins to the social media lane, Summit Racing stands by your need for speed. Find all your stuff, everything you need, OEM parts, aftermarket parts, everything at summitracing.com.
Oh
All right.
yeah.
Let's talk about fun stuff because Mr. Derek Putnam's been cranking out some amazing articles, and our boy Tommy Dupree was kind of a featured guest the other day on one of Derek's SICK magazine articles. And so basically, Tommy was talking to Derek about how he's followed Drag Week since the beginning, but it wasn't until 2021 that he actually raced the vehicle himself. I thought that was pretty wild. 05 to 2021. That's a long time, man. And I
Yeah.
wonder if that's kind of what we're seeing right now is those guys that have followed it for a while that had other life obligations are now old enough or have enough free time to where they can go, hey, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go out and race. So Tommy was one of the major driving forces for Summit to get involved in the drag and drive community. And ultimately, he puts a lot of the scheduling together of that big truck that's in the back of that shot right there to get to events. He told me one time they do 51 events a year.
Yeah.
Dude, there's
That's
only
wild.
52 weekends.
Right.
So pretty wild logistics type job there to make sure that the truck is where it needs to be and all that kind of stuff. And then he was telling Derek in this article, it says, our only downfall is not enough time and staff to be everywhere. However, the drag and drive community has shown us how much they appreciate us, and we've helped out a lot of people at events. I know I've seen it firsthand. You've seen it firsthand. There's always a line at the Summit truck trying to get little parts and big parts. He said, because of that, we purchased a second coach to do parts and events. So that will give us a little more freedom to do more events. You hear that? More events. So next year we'll be able to do SICK Summer and a Rocky Mountain Race Week Mega Week. I'm so excited about that. He said, we enjoy being a part of the Drag and Drive community. And as enthusiasts, because they race also, we look forward to being part of as many events as possible in 2025. Dude, this is a big deal. Summit being at events is huge for everybody because not only do they have little small fuses or a small fuel pump or a big fuel pump, they carry all that kind of stuff. But dude, helmets. He said they sold out all 15 helmets at SICK Week. Because what happens is people show up down there and their helmet is out of date or it's not, regulated to that level anymore, or it wasn't even that in the beginning. We've seen so many people show up with motorcycle helmets.
Yeah.
So big shout out to Summit. We love those guys. Jim is a great dude. Chris, the intern Chris, who's not an intern at all. He's a high up dude. He does really cool stuff. But he jumped in the car with us on Drag Week and drove and took photos and roller videos and all that kind of stuff. So big shout out to Chris and the whole team at Summit. Kevin, Alec, who do events, Jim and Tommy, all that stuff. They really help a ton. And them being at Mega Week is going to be great because it'll be one of the first times outside of Motion Raceworks that a company like that has been on site with a bunch of parts and products and all that kind of cool stuff. So I'm excited about that.
Yep. Tommy here saying thanks, guys. The community is awesome.
Yeah, I say it all the time. The Drag and Drive community is the best community out there of anybody I've ever, any community I've ever been a part of. They're the best for sure. Well, the new truck, I know it's not already tagged up and stuff like this one here, but dude, somebody took a banging roller of the Summit.
That was a ton of fun. We couldn't pass up that opportunity to get some rollers of the Summit truck heading down the highway.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that, that's on the Hot Rod Drag Week 2024 Day 2 album.
I think day 3.
Yeah, day 3 because we were at Martin. Yep, man, great stuff there. A lot of photos in that. Probably more than 4,000 or 5,000 photos you posted already from Drag Week.
Yeah, and I don't know what the number is, but it's been a ton.
Yeah, and a few more days left. All right, well, guys, listen. I know I'm not wearing a Drag Driver Pete hoodie like my boy Eric is, but I am wearing a Central Victorian Drag and Drive hoodie. Big shout out to Dave Curtis. But you can pick up your hoodie and your T-shirts right there at summitracing.com. There's more parts and products that are coming for the summitracing.com stuff for Drag Driver Pete. So I'm excited to see what the next few months bring. And again, this is super cool of them to do that. I really appreciate them doing that. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yep. All right. Well, let's talk about some Drag Driver Pete stuff because your boy's been working really hard on national level event stuff to get like the top 100 and to get really the Drag and Drive World Champion points put together. That's really taken a ton of my time the last 10 days probably. So I've been spending a lot of time on that. That will all be coming out as we get closer to PRI. We've been posting a few things, talking about a few things, obviously here on the show, but then also on the website. So if you're not on the Daily Dose over there, you need to do that for dragdriverpete.com. But I thought we would kind of go tonight, really kind of fun, just quickly. 2024 recap, talk about some national level events and just kind of show people how much this community has grown just in the single year that we really kind of dove into this in 2023, hard and heavy, collecting everything. 2024 is absolutely intense. 10 cars in the sixes, crazy number in the quarter mile, and then that's up from 7 in 2023. So 150% basically increase in 6-second cars. Now, 2 of those 10, really 4 of those 10 are Bryant Goldstone. And then 2 more are Alex Taylor. So
Yeah.
6 of the 10 are 2 people. So congratulations to them. But more than 2,700 racers. And by my math, I don't have the Southeast Street Meet stuff, but we're looking at more than 2,300 unique racers, which
Man.
means there's a ton of people. More than 100 racers have done 3 events or more.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
without the
crazy.
data from Southeast Street News. So we may be looking at more. I know there were Jesse Fox said there were like 180 people that competed at Southeast Street Meet. So if just half of those were returning folks, I mean, you're looking. We could have 150 people that did 3 national events or more. That's a whole week off of work, dude. A
Right.
whole week each time, crazy. And then Bryant Goldstone, 5 events for the year, national level events for the year. As of right now, again, I don't have the street meet stuff yet, but Dustin Cottle, Jay Grabiak, Mike Turner, and Randy Seward look like some of the ones that have done 4 events for 2024. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Man. I love it.
Yeah. I don't think we had that many people last year.
No, I'll have to take a look and see the I'm adding all of the regional data that is in relation to how we track drag and drive events. So I'm adding all of that together now, and I'll have like a full comprehensive breakdown for when we get to PRI for numbers like that, because that's the big thing, right? So as racers, as people that are going out looking for sponsors, these are things you can tell them. So we'll
Yeah.
put together like a full report that'll show how many cars, how many numbers, how many events, all that kind of stuff, how many tracks were visited. By my math, 97 tracks visited in 2024. Dude, drag and drive is helping save drag racing. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
97 tracks is
Yep.
crazy.
It's pretty awesome. So again, lots of data to do. One thing that is a huge struggle that I run into is the hours and hours and hours. I probably have hundreds of hours, if not 1,000 hours, in just manipulating, moving stuff around, making sure that somebody doesn't put a whole bunch of merged cells randomly in there, and that screws me up. So there's a lot of time spent on that. That hopefully we can fix some of that, especially in smaller or regional events, because those guys typically they don't know what to collect, right? They just don't know what to collect. So that's on us to help them figure out, one, how we need it to make it easier on us so we can get more data out. But then 2, how it makes it better for them and formulas and all that kind of stuff. So, anyways, we're working all that, and that'll come after PRI. But thought that was pretty awesome stuff. 100 racers, dude, more than 3. Like that's 300 cars cruising around for more than a week, more than 3 weeks at a time on national level events.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I can't wait to add in the regional stuff and the racers there and see, racers with 5 and 6, and like Dustin Cottle last year did 8 events. He's crazy. All right, well, let's talk about the circuit, because obviously the regional event we host is a big deal to us. This is a picture from last year that I just laid the new logo over because I'm creating a new one, because literally 3:00 today, great apparel printing and design, Karen and the team, if they're signed up to do the scavenger hunt again, they're going to be the scavenger hunt sponsors for this. This is awesome. They also do our shirts and things for the event, but this is really cool. So the scavenger hunt is back, and for folks that are outside of the circuit that don't know what the scavenger hunt is, it's exactly what it sounds like. We give you a list of like 80 to 90 items, and you've got to go find as many as you can. And so the Odoms and the Roberts, Josh and Danny Odom, and then Brandy and Aaron Roberts, both tied last year, like 800 points. I don't know what the final 800 or 805 or something like that. Well, I made it a mission to put almost all new items on the list this year. So we'll see how creative they can get this year. But essentially, you'll get a list. What's really cool about the way we do the scavenger hunt is you don't get the scavenger hunt list until you turn your time slips in on Saturday. And then you've got 130, 140 miles to collect as many points as possible by 7 o'clock, because
Yeah.
that's when we're going to do the so we're going to do the awards at the racer party on Saturday night. So it kind of, there's a lot of strategy that goes into that. Do you want to make your 2 passes on Saturday early, get your list early, and then go get your points? Or do you want to hang back and get your time because your time is more important to you, your ET is more important to you, and then just rush through the thing? It's pretty cool. So we give 500 to the winner and 250 to the second place person. So
Yeah,
it's
and
gonna be awesome, man.
it's super competitive. So if you're gonna go in, you better go all in.
Yeah, we had 20 teams last year, 20-ish teams last year, and I think most everybody was like in that 400 to 450, and then these two, they got their sheets early and just hammered it out, man. They were going pretty wild. It was awesome. So again, the circuit in just a few months here, we're looking at like 5 months, something around in there.
Yeah.
I'm not nervous at all. Are you nervous? I'm
Nah,
not nervous.
I'm good.
Not at all. Well, let's keep rolling, man. Lead us into the Driven Racing Oil event updates, please.
Yep. Driven Racing Oil is the performance engine oil that can do it all. GP1 is the ultimate oil for any race or performance application, whether launching hard at the drag strip, enduring the extreme heat of off road and circle track, or pushing limits in top field drag boats and demo derbies. Winning racers choose GP1. Compatible with engines from classic hot rods to cutting edge race machines, GP1's unique surface cling and high zinc formulation ensures superior wear protection, particularly for flat tappet camshafts, while solving issues like cylinder washout with methanol and ethanol fuels. Crafted from the legendary Bradford, Pennsylvania base oil, then enhanced with state of the art additive packages, GP1 offers the best in protection and performance. And as you guys know, you can follow Driven Racing Oil on Facebook and Instagram, or you can head over to drivenracingoil.com, pick up your oil and your swag.
Yeah. And Paul Snyder, you can shut up, sir.
I figured that was a perfect time to pull that one up.
And hey, I've been running through 18 minutes straight. I think I talked there. Well,
All
talk
right.
to us about this here, man.
Yep. So Mike Mayo posted in the Battle of the Streets. He asked how many racers wanted to run the event next year, averages or heads up, eliminations, and add index classes. Answers were, all over the place on that. The consensus seemed to us that folks definitely want a drive and they want to race heads up, which makes it a true street event.
Yeah, that's kind of the struggle I had with reading all of it. Everybody was like, "We love the drive, but we really want heads up elimination stuff." Okay,
Yeah.
it's 30 miles. That literally turns it into a true street event, not a drag and drive. But hey, whatever anybody wants to call their stuff, they can do that. We don't relegate that over here. But pretty, I would say there were like 70 comments in that post, and pretty interesting. So good reads there. I think some folks, as we get into drag and drive, they maybe miss the point of a drag and drive. It's to spend more time on the road and things like that. But I did, like, a lot of people were saying they didn't, leave the trailer somewhere else and drive to the track. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and again, this can be kind of a feeder to some of the, one day event to a regional event to a national event. So
Yep.
the concept of it's good. It's just that struggle of how do you classify it as a drag and drive or not. And
Yep. Yeah, that would be the hard part for a single day event. We'd love to see some some racing in the morning and then driving somewhere for a checkpoint and then racing in the afternoon. That'd be really cool. I don't know how long test and tunes are open everywhere else, but you could probably do that at Tulsa. It'd be pretty close. Well, let's talk about the last events for 2024, man. This is it's pretty wild,
Winding down.
dude. 2 more events left in the year. It's crazy. So the Road Trip Drag Challenge in Australia, it's their last event of the year, man. This is
Yeah.
number 3. So November 15th through 17th, that's this weekend. They start in 2 days. So pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's wild to think that, man, I feel like we just left PRI last year and here we
Yeah.
are in end of or mid-November and talking about the last 2 events of the year.
Yep. And then Texas Cruise and Chill, finally, man, I'm so excited to see these guys get this event off. Fingers crossed. XRP, Texas Motorplex, and Houston Motorsports Park or something like that. December 12th through 14th will be at PRI. But for the folks that aren't going to PRI and want to do something, this is going to be a good event, like 500 and something miles. This is going to be a fun one right here. 3
Yep.
tracks, 3 days. So it should be a good experience.
Yep. Destroyer 1320 jumping in here. What's up, man?
Hey, buddy.
All right. So the last event for the year is going to be, for us anyways, PRI. Again, guys, booth 4904. Make sure you either screenshot this or download the PRI app and put in there booth 4904. Make sure you guys come by, say hi, pick up the one-off cartoon head stickers of Mike and I. There's only limited number of them, so probably roughly 100 per day. So want to make sure you get those.
I'm live, Paul. I can't talk to you, sir. We're live right here.
So again, 4904. Make sure you come by the booth, say hi. We'll be right by the food booth, so you guys can grab some food, come hang out. We're going to be heckling people the entire time. So if anybody is standing in that line, by the time they get their food, they're going to know what a drag and drive is, I promise.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
And then, our big thing here is the Drag and Drive Awards. So that is going to be presented by Summit Racing Thursday morning, 11 a.m., room number 241. So make sure you guys are there before 11 a.m. So we kick off that show. And again, it's going to be an awesome hour-ish long of giving awards away. We are going to live stream it for those that aren't able to be there. But please, if you are at PRI, and you're going to be there Thursday morning, please come by and hang out and watch the Drag and Drive Awards show put on by Summit Racing.
Yeah, I'm pumped about this. We were talking right before the show, talking about the awards and the whole. Well, there's an award in there that we're conversating about, so it's going to be a great time. Let's talk about the first 3 events of 2025. Live calls during the show. Yeah, we're not taking calls during the show. Yeah, so Sick Week 2025 going to be January 27th through February 1st. This is going to be one of the first times we've seen like an event start on Monday, end on a Saturday. So this should be a good one right here.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of that. That gives people that work Monday through Friday that maybe can't get off a day to come and watch the final day. Everybody,
Yep.
Putting their stuff on the line, hero passes, and hopefully that'll bring in more spectators, ending on a Saturday.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then Kakalaki Run is going to be in Darlington, March 24th through 29th. This is a brand new event for 2025, put on by longtime drag and drive racers. This is going to be, obviously, Darlington is in South Carolina. And so it's going to be around in that where I think you go to Virginia Motorsports Park. So it's a bit of a drive, but that part of the country is going to be gorgeous in March.
This whole live calls thing's got me cracking up.
Yeah, we're not doing those. I'll tell you right now, especially not from Paul Snyder. And then, of course, the next event, the Circuit 2025, April 3rd through 6th there at Tulsa Raceway Park. The reason I bring this up is because if you think about it, that is literally January, February, March, and the first part of April. So really 3 months. And there's 3 events. This is
Yeah.
I know Sick Week is huge in the Southeast and in Georgia and Florida, but man, I'm telling you, there's a lot of opportunity there, I think, for some regional events to move into the earlier part of the year instead of us trying to stack so many events in September and October. This would be this would be a good time for folks to begin looking at that. But it's probably too late now to really begin your promotion for an event that's going to be, in the Southeast in January, February, or March, something like that. So I want to put up a map again sometime before the first of the year starts, once we have a few more events that will show locations and times or dates on that, just simply so people can see who is what and where and all that. You can find the full list at dragdriverepeat.com/event list. But to see it on a map, it kind of shows the gaping holes that we have in the community. A lot of times there's the Southwest gets no love. California gets they get like two events now, finally. And thanks to Big Sky Race Week, finally something up in Montana, but there's not much in the Northeast. There's not much in the Southeast once you get away from Sick Week before you start into, like Southeast Street needs the end of the year. And Kakalaki Run will kind of help with some of that as well. So we have huge Junes and huge Septembers.
Yep.
Spread some of this out just a little bit. I don't know. Is there anything in May? Is there anything in May? So
Yeah, I'm sure there is, but
yeah. So, anyways, all right. Well, cool. Well, that's some of the events. We gotta get rolling. I told Jay and John we'd be on by 30 after, and we're not there yet.
just getting close. 2 minutes. All right, you hitting this one?
Yep. Says what you Carl be there. Yeah. Sorry about that. I was reading the
Yeah, we still need to get Burned Down and War Performance on board with an event in Southern California.
Agreed. Well, Molly Motorsports here. Attention, high performance enthusiasts and racers. Meet the Molly Motorsport Power Pack Kit, your ultimate solution for Power Pack performance. The Power Pack pistons are made from either 4032 aluminum alloy to allow for tighter cylinder to wall clearances and improved temperature stability, or 2618 alloy to allow for increased detonation resistance. What sets Molly apart? Forged pistons, graphol coating, and phosphate treatments for peak performance and durability. Elevate your ride with Molly Motorsport, where performance meets precision. You can visit mollymotorsport.com for more details. And for the podcast listeners and everybody else out there, Molly is spelled Mahle when you're doing that search.
Yes, sir. All right. This was a super cool post by Anthony Harville. He said, "This is what racing and drag and drive is all about. Friends from across the country coming together and sharing stories around a circle. The circle just happens to have a fire. Everyone pulled into the last track after doing streetcar stuff while trying to kill their car at every track we drive to. Awesome drives and even better fellowship. I don't want this event to end, but absolutely can't wait until we meet at the next event." I mean, that really sums it up very well, which is why we're doing the camping deal at the circuit.
Yep. Yeah, this is exactly what I envisioned for the camp counselor, Robert Voss out here. This is what I envision is a group of people around a fire, hanging out, telling stories from the day or the week or life, whatever, and just having a good time before they go and crash out for the night.
Yep, absolutely. All right, and one more thing here before we jump into Jay. We are going through and looking for someone to give the Molly Motorsports Toughest Roadside Repair Award to. So we're looking for nominees. We want to hear from you guys who you think had the toughest roadside repair in 2024. We have a form on the website and can't wait to hear who you guys are putting in for nominations. We'll be announcing the winners at the Drag and Drive Awards show presented by Summit Racing at PRI 2024. So Mike just dropped that link in the chat. So if you have somebody you want to nominate, click that link, send your nomination in, and we look forward to seeing who ends up taking this award this year.
Yeah, we know we've had a bunch of nominations in the past, and I think Kyle from Miles of Mayhem won it last year. And so, yeah, you see the tailgate and the bed of this truck here. This is one of the nominations already is the guy that was with the deals. This was crazy right here. So, it's not based on vote numbers or quantity. It really comes down to we'll take all of the nominations and then we'll sift through them and look at all the stuff. So appreciate you guys putting that in there. When you can do that, dragdriverepeat.com/daily dose, and then go into the toughest roadside repair nomination. Should be the first article you're seeing right after this airs. All right, let's do this. Let's talk about JayWire Solutions, because they are expert car and marine wiring solutions you can trust. JayWire Solutions can wire and plumb your hot rod, your race car, or your drag and drive car. Plus, they offer products to make your driving experience better, like my favorite, the blinker module, that is a must for all drag and drive cars. This module will allow your rear turn signals to continue to function while the brake pedal is applied, just like it would if it was stock. So that's what our boy Jay Blanchard at JayWire Solutions does. He's on tonight again to talk about this dual wastegate, or this wastegate / blow off valve / twin supercharged deal that is way over my head. But the cool thing is he also has the car owner with him. So let's go ahead. We'll bring those guys on right now and let you guys introduce yourselves.
You first? Not now?
Yep, do it. You're on.
Hi, my name is Jay from JayWire Solutions. I know we're going to talk quite a bit about the car behind me, new shop. We got a lot of stuff going on, but I'll let John introduce himself. So,
my name is John Mayer. Met Jay through a couple different races and with Brian, and ended up bringing this car out here to him to get some EFI stuff down on it, and rolled into a few more things along the way.
He went to Sick Week in 2023, and he's like, "This is really cool. I need to do this."
Right. A little more time in the seat than just going to the track and making passes.
Absolutely.
Well, again, so we talk about all the time. There's a lot of guys that will make this trip, will make more passes during a drag and drive than they will all year.
Oh yeah.
Well, in building a car that's capable of putting more street miles on it and building the reliability in it. I mean, he was here last night working on some stuff, and he's like, "I'm excited to just get in it and drive it next year."
Right.
And we'll talk more about the car. I mean, we're converting it from a nitrous combination with race gas to E85. I mean, he was paying $25 a gallon for fuel, and now he's paying like $2.80 a gallon. I'm like, drive the heck out of it, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
And pull into the pump and fill it up and all that kind of stuff. That's awesome.
mm-hmm.
Well, I want to stay on Jay first. So, Jay, how's the new space? How much do you love it?
A lot. So for anybody that follows my Facebook page, we moved October 1st into a space that's 4 times the size of where we were at. Last week we had 7 cars either in or on the property.
Wow.
So it's crazy. And so we have, like, to my left, I've got a car that's waiting on a connector and it will be done. And we have another truck over here. It's a Factory 5 35 Ford truck. We have John's car. I have a 63 Corvette on the other side of the wall that's been done for about a week and a half, waiting to go to Jordan Sontag's shop. I've got a Nova getting dropped off this weekend. That's a methanol turbo Nova. I know a thing or two about Novas, so that's kind of exciting. We've got some projects coming from out of Ohio, like a F3 Pro Charge, big block, small tire car. So we've got a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipeline, and online sales are increasing, so that's great. So it's exciting.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome and well deserved, man. You've worked your butt off for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some things people should be looking at for their winter upgrades?
Like the narrow-minded me says, like, go to my website and buy everything you can. But no, what we've been trying to do is we've tried to, like, tap into some niche things that, I mean, wiring scares people. My friend Andrew Barrett is like, that would be great. I'm like, you really think that would sell? And he's like, wiring scares people, So you guys have mentioned the blinker priority module a lot. So that's been moving fairly decent as of late. And it's a great option because it adds a horn button. It gets your blinkers working the way they're supposed to. I have yet to do a video about it, but I probably should. John's car's outfitted with one. I think we've sold 5 of them in like the last 2 weeks.
Nice.
So that's awesome. And then a week and a half or so ago, we came out with a product that's got like a large relay on it with fusing capability. Going back into like the wiring scares people. I mean, a lot of times people get to the end of the season, they're like, all right, my stuff's not broken. Like, what can I do? You want to upgrade to like IGN-1A coils from like a stock coil, like on an LS application, or you're looking at doing a bigger fuel pump. And a lot of times, I'll stick kind of in my lane with Holley. You got a 30 amp relay that's set up to run your fuel pump, run your injectors, and run your coils. It's just not enough, right? And so as we really talk about drag and drive and what it is, the need for reliability, it should be a very high priority thing for you. And so we put that together. Like I said, it's got a couple of large fuses in it and a smaller fuse, and it's got a 70 amp relay, and it's got the appropriate wire gauge and all that kind of stuff. And the price point escapes me, but again, it's something that you can pick up. It's kind of an all-in-one package, and so that's great. As far as
I love the
go.
Right, and I love the packaging on that. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. It was just simply about how much easier that would be. Because that green wire that comes off of the Holley setup, there's so many pumps that are run on that. Dude, I can't imagine the level of heat that little wire is building based on that.
Yeah, and what you can do, like with that module specifically, the green wire, you can use to turn on the secondary relay, or if you want to go like right out of pin A2, which is actually what turns that green wire on, you can do that also.
That's awesome.
You're kind of the green wire is like, oh, this relay can fail, and then it's not going to turn the other relay on, so you've got a little bit of thanks, Rob. You've got a little bit of like redundancy from a failure perspective, but the same deal is like, I mean, I go back to like, and maybe it doesn't scare me because I do it every day, but like wiring scares people. And so if we can come up with solutions that, help people out, then that's great. We have like a wiring adapter harness that Holley doesn't make. So if you're looking at like an FID 2200 injector that's based on like the Denso package, then like nobody has I shouldn't say nobody, like there's companies out there that make a harness for that's like a direct plug-in. We've got them on our website too. Again, that's like an off-season upgrade. Someone might be looking at going from like 160 pound an hour injector to like that 210 or 220 pound an hour injector. Those are all upgrades. It's all building in reliability in your system. You might be switching from from gas to E85, and then you need that additional injector. And it's something that we have a solution for. Imagine that.
Right. That's dude, that's awesome. All right, John, enough of Jay's over our head stuff and scaring people with wiring. Tell us about this car, man.
It's I bought this car back in 2012, I think, and it started its life out when I bought it. It was like a bracket car down in Virginia somewhere. That's what I was told. Put a big block Chevy in it with nitrous, and the goal was to run 850s. And we went out there and we did that, and then I started doing a little bit of no prep stuff with it. It just wasn't fast enough for the no prep thing, so I quickly kind of turned my eyes towards driving it more, and the drag and drive stuff, and having Carl Stansel and Brian and Jay and some of these drag and drive guys kind of talking in your ear a little bit got me excited about it. So we ended up building this new engine. It's a 555 big block Chevy, twin 84 torque storms, and just kind of a whole new combination. So to me, it's all new. I haven't had EFI before, so kind of relying on Jay and his group of professionals to kind of help us get that going. And the Go Fast Productions helped me with the chassis, all that stuff. Put in different rear end in it, shocks, all the things that it's going to take to go fast. And it's been great. Whole top high performance. Put the engine, did all the machine work for the engine, and Go Fast assembled it for me. So
nice. So what's some goals you have for the car?
I think my one goal is to complete a drag and drive, but something I can drive. I think we're going to be competing in the 850 class somewhere. I think that the potential to go faster is there. I think the horsepower goals are going to be somewhere north of 1500. I think we can make it maybe a little bit farther than that, but I don't want to promise anything and get my hopes up, but we're thinking we could make it,
I was going to say, you're sitting next to one of the best. So I would say 850 be easy for that dude.
Yeah. I've been studying these guys for the last couple of years. So,
he's gonna come out and put us to shame or something like that. And then Brian's
so.
gonna start looking at me with pointing a finger at me like, what the heck?
Yeah,
just tell him.
Yeah.
Just tell him you got an open bay. You'll get him in.
He'll just tell me to drive to his house. That's generally how it happens. But.
Yeah. So I know you kind of mentioned some names when you were talking about the powertrain, but what are some of the sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
One of them is Go Fast Productions. They do roll cages, chassis work. He's got years and years of drag racing experience. He's helped me out, and he's helped all kinds of people get into drag racing. A lot of big block nitro stuff through them, which Jimmer Klein, he's awesome at it. Torque Storm Superchargers. I went looking for a new power adder and went talking to them, and they kind of helped me out a little bit on this thing. And it's been a fun project. I've never had a supercharged or boosted application before, so it's something new to me. So again, relying on the folks who've done this before and had experience. Whole top high performance, all machine work, and he's done a great job for us. He's fast. He gets stuff in and done. Very professional. JayWire, of course, we bought a lot of the products and taken a lot of his recommendations, and it's really turning out sweet. If you guys could see some of the wiring that is in this car and how it looks and how it's laid out, it's pretty phenomenal. I'm pretty excited about it. And then Perfect Automotive, they supply a lot of parts to us, little pieces. They come through in clutch situations when you need something. They seem to have it. So
that's awesome.
And what's awesome about this contingent is like they're all Grand Rapids based,
Yes.
West Michigan based people.
Oh,
and
cool.
So to me it's really awesome because like I feel like we have this little like cradle of performance. As you mentioned, like Jimmer's been doing chassis work and big block nitro stuff and small block nitro stuff for that matter for a long time. And he's just a wealth of knowledge. He's been over checking out this car a couple times and we've bounced ideas off each other, and I don't think this is going to work. And he's like, oh yeah, well, if you tweak on this or you do this right or whatever, so I'm like, and it's like, you got to be a sponge around him, because he's done so many things that, he's a long time, he's an 850 racer guy. I mean, he's like the feared 850 guy.
Right,
and
yeah,
I feel like we're like making inroads on that feared 850,
Nice.
but I feel like you show up and you're like, crap, Brian's there, Jimmer's there,
Right.
Mark McGill's there. I mean, Roger Wardell's there. Like now we have like these,
Right.
we have 4 or 5 850 people, and I'm sure I'm leaving people off the list. I don't want to offend anybody, but you go to that and it's like, oh crud, 2 years ago, import versus domestic in the semifinals, we beat McGill. We went 850 with a 2 to McGill's 850 with a 3.
Oh,
That was the semifinal round, and it was like, and I think Jimmer, we beat him in the round prior, and we went like 851 and change, and Jimmer went 849 with a 7. He went under. You know what I mean? It's just like, so like the 850 cradle, and just like Go Fast people. Ironically enough, that's Jimmer's company's name, but like the cohort of people like in this West Michigan area that are doing like what I think is like really awesome work is really cool.
Well, and to have a group of that level of racer or that level of company close to you, dude, that's huge because you go somewhere else and you've got friends and you guys can beat up on everybody else.
Yes.
Exactly. That's the hope.
Yeah.
Well, John, last question here. Why that car? Why did you buy that? What's the story?
I think this car, I've always loved the 69 Chevelle, and some people say I have this passion for orange things, but the car was just something that just caught my eye, and I went out there looking for it, and it was it was in pretty decent shape body wise. Just bought it as a roller, and then it was just orange. And as it was getting the cage put in it, everybody's like, "What are you doing with the General Lee?" And it was just kind of funny that we're like, "All right," for a joke. I said, "Well, it's the General Motors." So it's not really General Lee. So that's kind of, we put the stickers on.
Nice.
And we went down to Brown County, and we had some fun down there racing, and everybody loved it, and the kids loved it. Mm-hmm. And so on the roof, you didn't see it, but it's an American flag that says General Motors. So we stuck a little magnetic antenna on the back. We had fun with it, but it kind of stuck, and everybody's like, you can't paint that car. So it's kind of going to stay kind of the motif that it is, I guess.
How cool.
Patinaed orange about it.
Yeah.
Now it's
If you put any tape on it, the paint peels right up under the tape. So.
I love patina.
I opt to like put tape where there is no orange, so then I don't have to be like, John walks in and he's like, hey, there's less orange on the fenders. I'd be like, no, not on my watch.
Not today. Well, let's get into the reason you're here, because we've got a few minutes of explanations here. Dude, when I saw this, it really blew my mind. So here's the thing, right? For folks that are watching this at home, the two black pieces that are on the cold side are blow-off valves, which is generally what will regulate your boost going into the engine. But what really tripped me up was this other port that's on here. And so, of course, I messaged Jay. He's like, oh, it's a wastegate. He had it posted on the JayWire Solutions Facebook page that they were using a wastegate and controller to kind of really start dialing in the boost. So, of course, I messaged Jay, what the heck is happening? So, dude, kind of walk us through a little bit of this setup. And we'll get into why and how it works and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and not ramble. So my apologies if I do get rambly. But what I want to come out and say is like what we're doing is not new. The application might be a little bit different than what other people have used it for, but it's not new. So like Mark Mickey started working with Fuel Tech and Turbo Smart. This is a Turbo Smart product. So I know Mickey, like 2 years ago, I think started working with Fuel Tech and Turbo Smart with their e-gate. And they're doing some things with exhaust energy and regulating charge pressure side with an electronic system. Eric Yost competed in Sick Week in 23, I think won his class. And if you look at pictures under the hood of that car, he's got an e-gate on his as well. Mm-hmm. Devin has tested this with the CO2 option, which is what we have, not the e-gate, the CO2. Turbo Todd Moyer has been 345 at like 230 something mile an hour to the eighth, and 514 at like 270 something. And he's running, I believe, an electronic gate on the charge pipe side. And if you sneak some pictures of an orange Bickel Camaro from Evansville, Indiana, then you will also see that he has, can't go wrong with orange, you'll see that he has a wastegate installed on the charge pipe side. I've cleared that with Ryan that I can talk about that, but it is clear as day in some of his pictures. So what we're doing isn't new. Maybe the application is a little bit different because we're working in a supercharged application, and everybody else has been working in a turbocharged application. So that's kind of the circling back, because I don't want to take credit for being like, oh, I'm the first person to do this. Like a lot of people have tried this already. I just think that we have an opportunity to add a piece of tuning into this vehicle with this. And so I don't know if you want to ask me a question, Mike, or if you want me to kind of keep rambling. But
so real quick. So a lot of times when they use the e-gate, there's no wastegate on the exhaust side, right? Is that
right, which is kind of like what we have. Like we have no wastegate on the exhaust side because like we just have exhaust, right? We have belt-driven superchargers that are going to make a boost at an RPM, much like a turbo application is going to do with no wastegate on the exhaust side. It's going to make a boost at an RPM.
And so, again, just like you're saying, I mean, we've seen this before, and I understood it from that side, but this caught me off guard simply because there are also blow-off valves that you typically see with that. And that's kind of where our conversation really started from there.
Yeah, so the blow-off valve is really as a protective device for the throttle blade. Mm-hmm. Like when you close the throttle blade, you create vacuum on the backside as the engine is trying to suck through the throttle blade, and you have a surplus of boost on the front side. And so what it's going to do is it's going to pop the blow-off valves open. So the blow-off valve is still there as a protection device. The way that my intended strategy to run this is it should function just like a blow-off valve, but I didn't want to bend up a throttle blade on a Motion Raceworks throttle body like the first time that John sidesteps the throttle, and we try and pack 35 or 40 pounds of boost through a throttle blade that's closed. It didn't sound like a cool project. So Those are torque storm blow off valves you see there. That's provided with their kit. And like all machined in Grand Rapids, so I'm gonna give them a little plug because like all the stuff you see in that picture is machined in Grand Rapids, which is really cool.
Yep.
Scott and the team, Chris over there, like this is what they do is build superchargers. It's really cool. So
right. And so the 88, you said 88 or 84?
84.
84. Yeah, so I guess you would need that size of a supercharger to make that kind of power that you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, so twin 84s, I'm not sure. Like, I don't nerd out on the airflow numbers.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I know Scott has them on his big black Oldsmobile, and he's made 1900.
Yeah, so Scott's made 1900 with the same.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
and I love the uniqueness that this will create with the twin superchargers.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. You were talking about the blow-off valves and wastegates and
so the blow-off valves are going to do their job to protect the throttle blade and all that type of stuff. But really, like what's going to happen is, and I don't necessarily know the exact numbers, but if we want to leave with this car, say at 4,000 RPM, well, at 4,000 RPM, a certain amount of boost is going to be made. Thus, a certain amount of horsepower is going to be made. Well, so this device, this is the blow-off valve. I've taken it off this is the wastegate that I've taken off the car. This is a butterfly actuated valve. So like a traditional wastegate, like it acts like a valve, like an engine valve, where you have once it's open, you open beyond a certain level and you have like 100% flow. Well, by having a blade style in here, you get to the point where, and TurboSmart has the documentation. I should have like a little cheat sheet over here or something like that. But this stays within like 10% of linearity. So when you like crack this open 10%, it might flow like 8% through like the orifice size.
Mm-hmm.
You go to like 15%, it might go to 16%. You go to 25, it might be like 28. I believe like once you get past like about 90, it's going to flow pretty much all of the air through it that it would, but it stays very linear through the whole range. So now if we want to leave on 4,000 RPM and we want to leave on like 3 pounds of boost, like this is a controlled leak is what this is. Okay. And then I can change my controlled leak at any rate of ramp I want to based on trans brake release.
Oh. So, yeah. Well, and in the conversation, like the phone call you and I had was essentially like, obviously the blow-off valves would do this to a degree, but they're not able to be manipulated that minute of a number, right? So like,
these particular blow-off valves don't have like a pressure port on the bottom side, so we couldn't control them to like per se open them. Right. Like I know JGS has a piston style gate, and I believe that there's some gates that TurboSport also makes. But again, that piston style, like you just don't have the linearity that you need. Mm-hmm. It's either like I'm venting or I'm not.
Wow.
And there's like this like window in between there where it's like, oh, this worked. It's like a narrowband O2 sensor.
Yeah.
Right. It works for this little bit of range, and that's a crappy little bit of range for it to work.
Well, and for a car that's going to be consistent, like, I mean, to run 850s, obviously, and in any kind of drag and drive class, you got to be right. But at the same time, like to create that consistency as you go to other events and other classes and things like that, you're not going to run it all out at all 15 or 1800 horsepower every time. So you need
the other option to control. Sorry to cut you off, Mike. The other option to control horsepower is to take timing out of it. So then what do? I take a 555 cubic inch engine that makes a boatload of torque, and I'm shoving a bunch of boost down its throat, and then I retard the timing down to single digit timing, and then I burn exhaust valves out of it. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
No, it doesn't.
So then it was like, how can we boost regulate this thing like we would a turbo application, and then ramp the thing in, and then not necessarily have to worry. We can still pull timing if we need to. We need like a very finite or something like that for an area like where the car wants to go into a wheelie, or we've got traction issues or something like that. But like beyond that, it's like, let's regulate the boost pressure and then keep the exhaust valves in the thing, right? And then let's drive the reliability of the combination up by doing that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that's why I'm on here and explaining that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I dig it, man. That's why you're smarter than me, and I appreciate you explaining all that.
All right. So John, what's up next for the car?
Up next for the car, I think, is just getting it on the road. I'll probably have it at Drop the Hammer in the spring. Last year I was at Drop the Hammer as the announcer.
Nice.
So it was a good time. We had fun, and I think I'd like to bring the car to that. Carl still wants me to announce. I said, we'll see, but I think we'll just get out there and try to complete a drag and drive and just feel the car out. There's a lot of testing. I'd like to do some of the SICK events. Probably do SICK week next year.
Nice.
Maybe not in January, coming up in 25, but in 26.
Yeah.
But I'll try to do some local events. There's quite a few happening. SICK Michigan Miles is happening. I might see about jumping in on that. All kind of close to home. So if there is issues, we can have somebody help
Jay
bail us
shop
out.
and
Yeah, we joked. I mean, a couple, just share a couple more things about the car. And John, I was very humbled yesterday. John and I talked till 6 o'clock in the shop last night, and he's like, I'm taking guidance from you. You've done a lot of events. These are the types of cars you build and stuff like that. And so I was very adamant about putting a monster radiator in this thing. So there's a company that John works with out of Grand Rapids. It's
A DNB heat transfer.
yeah. So they build a custom radiator for John's car. So the core itself is 32 inches wide, and we put dual Chevy Silverado fans on it. They're PWM modulated fans, and so the intent is if I want to cool this thing down to 150 degrees on a 95 degree day, I want the ability to do that. John wants the ability to be able to do that. And I put a joke out, kind of a haha meme or something a year and a half ago. And it was JayWire Solutions is putting ignition switches back in cars since 2022. And so John was a switch panel, ignition, start, arm nitrous, bottle heater, turn the water pump on, turn the fan on, and I'm proud to say John has a key in the dash again, and there's a box under the dash that's going to do all the thinking for him. So he literally can crack the CO2 bottle, and he can mat the gas and go run the thing down the track or around town with the better fuel economy and the fuel prices and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, drive it to work, enjoy the hell out of it. That's the whole goal. For me with this stuff is seeing happy customers that know they've got a turnkey car sitting in the driveway that they can go fire up and drive around the block or take the kids out for ice cream or whatever they want to do with it, or go beat up on their friends on the street or whatever it might be. But so we put a really big radiator in this. They DNB took care of us on that. It's got big fans. We've done a lot of things to try and air proof and overbuild again with this completing is not going to be the problem. Yeah. Is the goal, of course. So
that is super cool. Well, I'm excited to see the car out and about. Drop the Hammer is definitely one of our short list events for 2025, just because we haven't been there, and I think it would be awesome to do that event. And I love Carl; he's a great dude.
Yep.
So, all right. We appreciate you coming on. 30 minutes isn't long enough. I realize that, and I just want to say thanks for hanging out and running through that so quickly. You guys will be back on again. I want to have more conversations once the car gets on the street, and you guys kind of start working through some stuff and figuring all that out. I'd love to have you back.
Yeah, awesome.
That's been fun. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jay. We'll talk soon.
All right, see you.
Thanks, guys.
Dude, how fun!
That's super cool.
That's why I love Jay. His brain is way bigger than mine, and he can explain stuff like that makes sense, and so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. I like the twin torque storms. I've never seen anything like that, but I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that, and again, looks a lot like a turbo setup, or it's a centrifugal blower or whatever you call that. Right. So it just makes sense on that side. And I love the piping. Can't wait to get close to that car and look at it more. All right, we got to get rolling here. Guys, just want to say thanks again for being our race car friends. Thank you so much for the folks that are making comments tonight. Comments are doing well. See you out there, Paul Snyder, still making comments. Thanks, buddy. And then for everybody else that shares and likes and all that kind of stuff, y'all, we appreciate you so much for doing all that you do for us. And thanks to our sponsors, Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Car Change 3D, WAF Racing, who's going to be at PRI with us in our booth, Performer Built Transmissions, JayWire Solutions, Howard's Cam, Sweet Patina, Power Tube TV, and Racing Junk Classifieds. Y'all, big time thanks to everybody that's out there. And then the gentleman's agreement is simply this. We work hard. we do love doing this, but it takes a ton of time and a ton of effort. And we would appreciate it if you guys would hit the subscribe or follow button wherever you're watching this at. Please do that for us. That's the gentleman's agreement. It's easy. We can't make sure you do it, but hey, listen, if we're going to do this, you do that, everything will be great in the world. Right? And then PowerTube TV, y'all rev up your engines with PowerTube TV, the ultimate destination for automotive entertainment. Stream it for free on the web or on your Roku or on mobile apps and anywhere else you can watch a screen. You can find PowerTube TV. Catch replays of our show and exclusive content from us and other top creators. They also have a ton of classics like Pinks and Pastime, which is coming back in 2025, plus a ton of original new shows. PowerTube TV isn't just a platform, it's a community. Join the content creator development program, which is what we're in with them, and be a part of something special. Find more at watchpttv.com.
Like this show? Want more? Then head to watchpttv.com, the new 100% free PowerTube TV streaming network. Home of the best classic and new motorsports racing and build shows on the web.